Look, it's no surprise that African American males are still overwhelmingly cast as not the great guys. It's just a fact of life. You know, I think in some cases it's shifted a little, and there's probably certainly more roles available today as positive roles than there was, say, 20 years ago. But it's got a long way to go, right? I mean, a long, long way to go. And I'm not really sure what it's gonna take. Like, you know, I just saw that Denzel Washington wants to play James Bond, and that'd be great. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen because black guys are not that guy. You know, we're not that. But you know, you could be the doctor, you could be the pilot, but you know, and now you could be the president, right? On occasion. I mean, Morgan Freeman played the president once or twice. But there's just not enough positive roles that are reflective of some of the positive people that are in the society at large. You know, it's still very like, it's easy to be the robber or the drug dealer or the, you know, janitor. You know, I had a job, and I was originally hired to play like the lead lawyer. But then when I went and showed up, they actually were like, yeah, well, you know, they changed it last minute. He's the more lawyerly type. Well, yeah, he's the more lawyerly type because he's a white guy and he probably looks like, you know, he could be of like maybe a Jewish background, so more stereotypical. The stereotype worked for him, didn't necessarily work for me, right? But that happens, and it's unfortunate.
Well, it used to be a lot of the African American ghetto girl, but I feel like they've done such a good job of branching out of that. And I'm so grateful for that because I'm so not the ghetto girl. So I'm really happy about that because now we have Megan Good. She does the mean girl. She did Deception last year and she was playing the detective, and that was just great. We have Kerry Washington doing Scandal. Fantastic. Even on the following, we have an African American girl that's around my age that's playing Joe Carroll's like stepdaughter-ish type of thing. And she's African American, playing against Kevin Bacon. Like, that's awesome. And I think that the industry is definitely kind of starting to open up doors for us, and I really appreciate it because I'm here and I'm ready.
Well, I guess it depends on where you're looking. I mean, I feel like there have been some things that have been really, really great for African American males. Like, you have things like, you know, 12 Years a Slave that just came out with some really, really, you know, Chiwetel Ejiofor is, you know, amazing actor. And then you have a lot of sitcoms now that have, you know, like Blackish, or, you know, like thinking back a little bit like The Game, and like these actors are, it's almost like it's a very similar niche of a type for actors. But I mean, I think it's getting better. It's not so much like the whole urban thing, you know. It's like, it's okay for a black guy to be articulate when he speaks. It's okay for him to be like wealthy in a show, you know. It's not so much like, let's look at this guy in a gang. So I mean, I think it's actually getting a lot better.
Honestly, I think being an Asian is really hard in the industry. Like, to, and acting wise, even in singing, it's really hard to get into show business, in any kind of business like acting or singing or even dancing, just because, for example, usually Asians, like if you have, I'm Filipino, so I have tan skin color, so I wouldn't be playing Filipino, you know what I mean? I'd be playing either Mexican or American Indian. I mean, I've never seen, or I have not seen any shows, like TV shows that had like straight on a Filipino character. The only one that I know that there is an Asian person or a Filipino person playing a Filipino character is the Secret Life of American Teenager. It's basically a story of how she's pregnant, how she gets pregnant at a young age. But one of the characters there is Filipino, and he plays a Filipino character. So that's the only time that I saw that someone that's really Filipino is playing a Filipino character. But anything else, it's usually like Filipino playing a Mexican. Like, another example is Vanessa Hudgens. She's half Filipino. Or Rob Schneider, he's half Filipino also. He's half Filipino, half Jewish. So I think people who are half Filipino have a better in than being like Filipino American like me. I don't know why, but it's just from what I've observed, it's way easier when you're half, because I think when you're half, you don't look quite Filipino.
First gender, being female, sexual. It's like the girl is sexual. She's a tomboy. She's like a little nerdy type of girl. You know, that's the categories that we're being put more so sexy. Everything's just sexy. And as a black female is more so, okay, well, either you're like, once again, either you're playing this you know, not so educated, or you're the bougie black girl, you know, the one token black girl is what I like to call it. And I'm used to that because I went to a private school all my life, and boarding school. I was the one token African girl. So for me, I'm like, oh, it's one token black girl, okay. So that's what you are. Or you're just the hard ass girl, like the hard ass black girl. Don't mess with her. You know, she can be ghetto, but she can also be proper, but don't mess with her, you know. So I want to see more comedic black women out there, you know. That's what I really want to see.
If it's not a slave in the Amistad, you know, once again, it's a crooked cop. If I do get the rankings of actually getting the opportunity to play an officer, I'm always technically going to be the bad guy, or portrayed to be the bad guy, at least for the character. Not necessarily saying the production is making me, Trey Carswell, a bad guy to the world, because, you know, once again, we have fans, people love us as actors, but it does suck when, you know, you have that traditional outlook as far as like the African American male being an actor. Like I said, it's always plugged back into being that villain. And like I said, it's common, which sucks because it's also, you know, that's what you get in media, and that these are the things that, you know, change our thoughts and that controls our minds and how we think and view things in life. And once again, if you always have that same vision, or, you know, that same image of an African American male, like, oh, he's the bad guy, you're going to probably just also look at that person too in life. So I'm not comfortable with it, you know, the traditional portrayal of a African American male being some type of crook,